that I discussed earlier. So this kind of attacks you see once a year actually. But these were kind of suspected to be government funded, mostly by the it was suspected that it was North Korea behind maintaining the team or funding the team in kind of attacking the company. And so there are a mix of different other countries too. Okay, so what happened is that these are not most prophylactic. You won't see this kind of attack happening every day. Okay, but if it happens, it will be really kind of targeted and really sophisticated that most of our uh, devices will not be able to kind of detect that. Okay, so they possess. So why it happens? Because they possesses formidable capabilities that make them highly dangerous. Okay, so this group operates with this government-funded group operates with stealth and sophistication. Okay, and often surpassing like what defenders we probably thought that okay, these are the defending points for us. It will be kind of easy for them to kind of bypass them. Okay, so let's say one of the reasons why government funded are very good. So let's say you have a really highly sophisticated IDS system, intrusion detection and detection system on your network, which is only kind of available to few organizations. Okay, so what the government funded team can do is that they can easily buy that IDS. Okay, they can easily buy, even though like let's say it kind of the cost of that is crore rupees. They can easily buy that, and they would definitely have a reverse engineering team in their team. What they can do is that they once they buy that, they will try to understand okay how they can kind of what are the loopholes in that IDS. Let's say they will try to find out the vulnerabilities in that IDS in their lab environment locally. Okay, now once they have kind of found out that, and now they know that then they have a certain kind of special capabilities where they have kind of a zero-day exploit which no one is kind of knowing out for that ideas, and they can target those company which is kind of buying those ideas. So the company which will be kind of buying those highly cost ideas will be really big companies. And the thing is that let's say Microsoft for example, and now the government funded hackers have actually a zero-day exploit by which they can kind of get a control of the ideas, for an example. And what they can do is that what we would think that okay, we have an ideas which can protect us, but the attacker already has a zero-day exploit by which they can kind of control the ideas. And what they can do is that what they can do is like they can switch off a certain kind of alert, or maybe make some modification on the alert, let's say DDoS attack, and the IDS will then not detect those DDoS attack, for example. So what will happen once the government funded organization initiated DDoS attack, the IDS will be of no use because it has been configured, unauthorizedly configured by the attacker to kind of not detect the DDoS attack. Okay, so these are the kind of a sophistication level or the funding level which the government backed hacking group has. Okay, so as I told, this group operates with stealth and sophistication, often surpassing the defenders previously believed to be possible. Okay, so what they do is like they utilize cutting edge techniques like 0 days and rootkits, and they also kind of constantly push the boundaries of cyber warfare. So what I will suggest is that there are different malwares, for an example, which were thought to be kind of government funded. So I will ask you guys to kind of go through that. So one of the malware which so let's say I will ask you guys what kind of malwares or how let's say SolarWinds, how the attacker got hold of that, what kind of malwares were there that were implemented in the product of SolarWinds. So I will ask you guys to kind of go through that in your free time. And there was another malware to, let's say, target nuclear power plant. Let's say what's the name of that? I think net. So this is another malware, which is kind of, I will ask you guys to kind of go through that kind of in your free time and kind of read more about that, like how this malware works and what were the capabilities. So this was kind of a malware which was kind of highly suspected to be developed by a well-funded government organization, and it had so many sophistication level of kind of how to kind of evade the detection, it was really mind blowing. Okay, and the way by which it was able to kind of get a control again on the system were not known at that point of time when this malware came into existence. Okay, when this malware was developed. So that's the level of kind of sophistication that this kind of government funded organization have. And they actually, what I will say is that they actually are always 10 years ahead of what you say, the technology that will be kind of getting hands on, which the normal public will kind of get hands on. And so the thing is that let's say for example, um, the Bitcoin, for example. Okay, so right now we are let's say using the Bitcoin, we are using the Tor network to kind of have a kind of let's say a proper secure communication between let's say me and the other entity. If I want to have a secure communication, let's say I use Tor. So believing that okay, Tor is kind of is a system which will totally hide my identity from the internet network. But this government well funded are so good that even before like this Tor is mass adopted by the public, they already have different kind of exploits for the Tor network by which they can kind of easily log into the Tor network, tap into the Tor network, and kind of collect different kind of data in unencrypted form for their organization. Okay, so that's what I have to say, that what's the capability of the government funded organizations are. They utilized kind of cutting edge techniques like zero day and rootkits. And one of the things they also do is they also keep themselves up in the market. They develop capabilities which are like let's say 5 years ahead of what we know. Okay, so the attribution of this attack to specific countries actually became a kind of a turning point in 2012. Okay, so there was a massive attack with there's a group actually which was, let me just search for that, APT 1. Okay, so there was actually a group in 2012 which was APT1, which was linked to China, and they conducted a very highly sophisticated kind of attack on one of the organizations. So you can kind of gather further details from this Mandiant report, okay, exposing one of the China cyber espionage unit. And the thing is that they actually kind of conducted a very sophisticated attack in on few organizations for espionage. And the thing is that by 2012, then there was a need actually to kind of figure out where these attackers are coming from which country they are kind of coming from, because that would again help the other countries to kind of put certain sanctions on the company. So let's say the attacker is coming from Russia or let's say China, which we commonly see. Okay, so then the other leadership of the other countries, they decide certain kind of sanction, or let's say they will take certain sanction by which they will kind of block their network access to different part of US, for example. Okay, so these are something which kind of we also need to kind of figure out from where these attackers are coming from, which are the country which is funding them. Let's say North Korea, for example. There was a massive Sony hack earlier, which you guys might know about. So it was found out that those attack group was actually kind of funded by the North Korea, for example. And so that is one thing about the government funded thing. Then there's another thing which is organized crime group. So this is again incredibly prolific in their attack. Okay, this group, let's say one of the example of this group is Dark Overload. Okay, so there was a group which is called Dark Overload. So Overload. Okay, so there were multiple attacks from them too. Okay, so what the benefit that they got, so what they did was like they amassed significant profit over the years through fraudulent activities and extortion techniques. For instance, this hacker group actually targeted healthcare organization. Okay, they gained access to their sensitive data by actually utilizing crimeware as a service. Okay, CAS.